Hello everyone and welcome back to My Left Eye. Two interesting stories have come out in the last 24 hours concerning the Labour Party. Rochdale by-election candidate Azhar Ali has come under fire from Labour chiefs and Tories alike for comments he made in a community meeting about the Hamas attacks on October the 7th last year, and also two Labour councillors have quit the party after higher powers within Labour tried to cajole and bully them into changing their stance on a ceasefire in Gaza. Let's see what's going on. Well, Azhar Ali has found himself stuck between a rock and a hard place in the last week. Ali supports a ceasefire in Gaza, but with most of the Parliamentary Labour Party choosing to abstain on the motion in a House of Commons vote last November, he's been met with a hostile reception from pro-Palestinian voters while canvassing in Rochdale for the by-election later this month, as we'll remind you with these clips from a video we put out on the channel last week.
No, we don't support Zionists, bye!
We won't listen. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
If you'd like to see the full video, that was released on February the 8th and it's on our playlist right now. Meanwhile, Azhar Ali has since spoken out in favour of Gaza, both because of personal beliefs as well as the threat looming from independent candidates George Galloway and Mark Coleman, who both back a ceasefire. However, he's been heavily scrutinised and disciplined into giving an apology for his remarks in the community meeting, during which he suggested that Israel had prior knowledge of Hamas's attack and allowed it to take place in order to carry out a violent and genocidal reaction, a reaction which even Joe Biden himself has described as over the top.
Over the top.
This has created a furore in the media, with Tories calling for him to be removed from the party, though with the deadline for candidate registration in the seat having already passed, he appears to have been forced by Labour to apologise instead. But is there more to this story than first appears? Let's check out the article. Labour's candidate in the Rochdale by-election has apologised for remarks he made about Israel in a community meeting. In a secret recording obtained by the Mail on Sunday, Azhar Ali reportedly said Israel had allowed the deadly attack by Hamas gunmen on 7th of October. He's later said his claims have been deeply offensive, ignorant and false. We'll go on to the circumstances around that shortly. But in the meantime, the Tories have called for Labour to suspend its by-election campaign and remove Mr Ali's party membership. The deadline, as we said, to withdraw Mr Ali as a candidate has passed. Labour's national campaign coordinator Pat McFadden told BBC's Sunday with Laura Kustenberg that Mr Ali's comments were completely wrong and did not represent the party's view. However, he told Sky News Mr Ali would remain Labour's candidate in the Rochdale by-election. In the recording, which has not been heard by the BBC, Mr Ali is alleged to have said, quote, "The Egyptians are saying that they warned Israel 10 days earlier. Americans warned them a day before that there's something happening. They deliberately took the security off. They allowed that massacre, which gives them the green light to do whatever they bloody want," end quote. Israeli authorities have faced criticism for security failings, and reports have emerged that intelligence services were warned by Egypt of potential violence in the days leading up to the attack. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has described the reports as absolutely false. Just going into that in a little bit more detail, speaking of Egypt, denial isn't just a river in Egypt. Benjamin Netanyahu claiming that this is, quote, absolutely false. However, as you can see from another report here, Israel was warned by Egypt of potential violence 3 days before Hamas's deadly cross-border raid, a US congressional panel chairman has said. So this isn't just coming from Azhar Ali, this is coming from the United States congressional panel. House of Representatives Foreign Affairs Committee head Michael McCall told reporters of the alleged warning. Israeli intelligence services are under scrutiny for their failure to prevent the deadliest attack by Palestinian militants in Israel's 75-year history. He said, "We know that Egypt has warned the Israelis 3 days prior that an event like this could happen," Mr McCall told reporters following a closed-door intelligence briefing on Wednesday for lawmakers about the Middle East crisis, according to the AFP news agency. "I don't want to get too much into classified, but the warning was given," the Texas Republican added. "I think the question was, at what level?" So although there does at least appear to be some truth behind these claims, in a statement Mr Ali said, "I apologise unreservedly to the Jewish community for my comments which were deeply offensive, ignorant and false." Hamas's horrific terror attack was a responsibility of Hamas alone, and they are still holding hostages who must be released. To me, those words sound as though they've been put into his mouth. Obviously, the Labour Party leader, Keir Starmer, is an open Zionist and has said that he supports Zionism without qualification. Those members within the Labour Party who have showed support for Palestine so far have seen authorities within the Labour Party coming down on them, asking them to change their stance, to have a more pro-Israeli opinion, and it appears that they've managed to get through with whatever threats that they've made to Azhar Ali to make him state this forced apology. Although, as I did say, there does seem to be some truth behind this, which really does beg the question, why would the Egyptians just make up a story that they'd warned Israel about the upcoming attacks? Obviously, they have a vested interest in this matter, with them sharing the Rafah crossing border with Palestine. If war was to break out and a mass of refugees would head towards the Rafah crossing, that would put intense humanitarian pressure on Egypt as well. But I'd like to know what you think about this subject, about this topic. Do you think that Israel did have prior warning to these attacks, or perhaps you didn't? Let us know either way in the comments what you thought. The article also goes on to point out a number of Labour frontbench MPs and councillors have resigned over the party's initial reluctance to call for a ceasefire. There was also controversy after Sir Keir appeared to claim in October that Israel had the right to cut off power and water from Gaza, although he later said he was instead supporting Israel's right to self-defence. As we saw in the Gaza ceasefire last November, Keir Starmer and the Labour whips urged Labour MPs to abstain. 141 of them did. Only 56 of them voted for the motion for a ceasefire, which prevented the motion from getting through. However, as this article has described, many people within Labour have been upset over this issue and have since resigned. That includes 2 councillors from Kirklees, which we're going to have a look at now. Jo Lawson has tweeted that today she's resigned from the Labour and Kirklees Labour group. She will continue to represent the ward as an independent alongside her colleague Imran Sadfar, who's resigned alongside her. In the closing part of the resignation letter, which I'm going to point out to you now, she stated, "The Labour Party appears to be running for office solely on a 'we are not the Tories' ticket, and I suspect millions will be bitterly disappointed. I find myself an elected representative of a party that if I had been just a member, I would have resigned months ago. We all have red lines that can't be crossed, and mine was Starmer's stance on Gaza. You can send as many letters as you want, you can stay and fight for change from within, but there has come a time when you realise all of this is futile. I can no longer be part of a party who will not openly acknowledge what is happening in Gaza is genocide. It is not a case of me leaving the Labour Party, more the Labour Party leaving me. The party no longer holds the same values as me. I will continue to represent the Crossland Moor and Netherton ward as an independent alongside Councilor Imran Sadfar." That's Jo Lawson, Councillor of Crossland Moor and Netherton ward, Kirklees MBC. There have been a lot of responses to the tweet, with Jo Lawson and Imran Sadfar receiving a large amount of support from former Labour Party members, but this appears to be the difference at the moment. Jo and Imran have put their morals first and walked away from the party. Obviously, Azhar Ali, who is up for candidacy in the Rochdale by-election, has chosen to stick it out with the party despite his conflicting morals, whereas he supports a ceasefire in Gaza. He's not willing to quit the party, and as you can see from the retraction of his statements about Israel in the earlier article, he does at least appear to be under the influence of superior forces within Labour. But it's refreshing to see that there are councillors, there are Labour Party members who are putting their morals first, who want to be on the right side of history and are duly resigning from the party in response to Keir Starmer's Zionism. But please do let us know what you think about these 2 stories, whether you think that Israel had prior knowledge of the attacks by Hamas on October the 7th, and what you think about these 2 recent resignations from Labour Party councillors. We'll try and keep you up to speed with all of the latest news on that Rochdale by-election. Just wanted to say it's been great to get so many new subscribers recently. If you're new to the channel, you're very welcome here. Thanks a lot for your comments on some of the videos we've done lately. If you've not checked out some of our other content, please do so. You can see one of our videos right now in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Well, until next time, take care everyone. We'll see you soon on my left eye.